to this because violent religious extremists were in the news this week, one from each side. There's a guy we found out, a Muslim soldier, a Muslim American, was planning on blowing up Fort Hood, the same place that Major Hassan shot up a couple of years ago. I don't know what they're doing down in Fort Hood, but they're making some of the Muslim soldiers mad. And then, of course, we had Anders Breivik, the guy from Norway, who did succeed in his horrible terrorist attack. Now, I'm sure the media would have no trouble calling the guy at Fort Hood a Muslim terrorist, but they refused to call Anders Breivik a Christian terrorist. But that's what he was. He's a Christian terrorist. He wanted to start a Christian onslaught against the Muslims. And it reminds me that this is not a problem with the Muslim religion. It's a problem with religion. And Christianity is perfectly capable of coming out of its dormant phase and once again becoming the violent, bloodlusty religion it was under the Crusades. Bill O'Reilly, and they're in just as much denial as the Muslims. Bill O'Reilly said, no one believing in Jesus commits mass murder. Pinhead, what do you think the Crusades were? What do you think the entire 16th century in Europe was? What do you think the Inquisition was? The Ku Klux Klan is a Christian organization. Tim McVeigh, I could go on. But I see that look on your face. So I will shut up.
I mean, you can call this guy a Christian extremist, but the difference between him and the Islamic supremacists that are really this Christian guy, he's a nut who calls himself a Christian, but he isn't connected to a global terror network that is trying to perpetrate terrorism on everyone else in the name of an organized and well-funded terrorist network. No,
it's an idea.
No, that is not true. Major Hassan.
Right. It's an idea. You don't need to be in the club.
There's different. There's a difference, as we know, between Islamic supremacy and this what you're calling Christian extremism. But the reality is, you're blaming this all on religion. The bloodiest murders in the last 20th century. Listen. Atheism. What was communism? What was socialism? What was a great leap forward? 30 million people died in China in the Great Leap Forward. Yes. 20 million people died in Stalin's purges. That was atheism. And it was ideology run amok, and it's killed 50 million people in the 20th century. That's way more than religion.
Religion has killed
way
more
more
people
than religion has killed
that is
in the
bullshit.
20th century.
And also...
But Bill, here's where I disagree with you. And I'm worried that we're on the same side on this one a little bit, but
this is very uncomfortable.
It's fanaticism.
Don't say it.
It's fanaticism that is the enemy. It is not religion. Fanaticism in any ideology and lack of tolerance is when you get danger, and that is.
But far from restraining people, religion is what gives people license to commit crazy acts. Because
so does ideology. So does what do you think Soviet communism, a great leap forward in China was? It was the same thing. It gave them license.
Didn't give them license. It gave them an army, and also. A lot of these places, it really was a state religion. North Korea, I know you would say that's an atheist country. It's not. The dear leader is the god. They think that he, when he was born, winter turned into spring. They said the first time he played golf, he had 11 holes in one. That is religion. I'm serious. You create a god. Hitler was a god.
I have another theory, by the way. Maybe this guy's just batshit crazy.
Well, he is, of course. But
crazy's not an ideology.
No, but religion gives crazy a platform and justifies it. That's the problem.
No, but it is the lack of tolerance, Bill. I mean, I think it is when you see a refusal to accept alternative views and you are so deeply ingrained in your own worldview that you have to stomp out everybody else. That's when you get the craziness.
But what gives people license to think that way? Religion.
Well, but many different ideologies.
But mostly religion. That's mostly what gives people the license to say, my God is a bigger dick than your God, and maybe you should die for it. Anyway, we got to go. Thank you.